Both of these are very popular at the moment. Crown's definitely an older person drink. A lot of old farts drink the Crown. A lot of young blokes who can't handle their liquor drink Iron Jacks. Hello, and welcome back to our blind beer tasting tournament. We have finished our qualifiers and are now putting our winners up against each other in the round of 16. Today's the 7th matchup. They are completely random, so I'll give you the most honest opinion as to which beer is the best. Let's get straight into it with beer A first. Beer A, it's a very good colour, very traditional colour. It's got a mild amount of carbonation, nothing special. Smells very lagery, very yeasty. Smells quite strong. Tastes quite strong, quite a full flavour. It's not a beer I particularly enjoy. I don't particularly like the taste of this beer, but I can taste that it's a Crown, I'm pretty sure. It's not my favourite drink, but I've had them enough that I can generally pick it. And I think of the 4 beers that are left, including these two, the rest aren't as strong as what a Crown should be. So this is a very strong beer to drink, and it stands out. Let's try beer B now. Beer B is a lot darker. It's got a fair amount of carbonation. It's got a nice head on it. It smells very neutral. There's no odour coming out of this beer. It's a very weak beer. It's extremely weak considering I've just had a Crown. What I think is a Crown. It's very easy to drink, but it doesn't have a lot of taste, which is the problem with a lot of light beers. A lot of light beers are really easy to drink. You can drink a lot of light beers, but they don't have that full flavour that you're looking for. This will be a hard matchup to judge. Beer A is very strong. And I'm almost confident, I'm almost 100% sure it's a Crown. Has a lot of flavour. It has a lot of flavour and it's very traditional. However, it's not a flavour that I like. So I could definitely score this as the loser because I don't particularly enjoy it. But it does taste very beer-like. On the other hand, option B, which could be the ice beer or the other beer I think is an Iron Jack, whichever one of these two I decide it will be. It's a very easy drinking beer. I'd definitely drink this myself over this one, but it doesn't have a lot of taste. So although I may enjoy it more, I might as well drink water if I want to drink this because they're just so light and non-beer like in a way. I think it's even more flavourless once you've had a strong beer ahead of it. So it's this will come down as to whether my personal preference is outweighed by the actual quality of the beer or not. Beer A is getting a little better. The more I drink, the more alcohol content I get into my body, the less harsh the taste is. So now I've probably had a full beer by now from where these glasses are. It's tasting better. The edges come off it and it's got a nice flavour now. Still very impactful though. It's still probably a bit stronger and a bit more in your face than what I like. I think I'm not a particularly strong fan of this. I think it's probably a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. In saying it's a 4 out of 10 and I don't particularly enjoy it, I can still see what they've gone for. It's a full flavour, very yeasty, very traditional, very, very strong. It just doesn't appeal to me. This isn't a beer that I would buy over a lot of other beers. Beer B. Tastes really weak now. So the opposite problem to what I've had for beer A. Beer A, the more I drank, the easier this got to drink because I've got used to the beer taste. Beer B, because it was already light to start with and I'm a few drinks in, it tastes just as flavourless as ever. And because it was weak to start with and now I've had a bit to drink, it hasn't got any better. This one's gotten better the more I've drank. This one hasn't moved at all. So I think, putting my personal preference aside of this beer, which I think is an Iron Jack, I think the ice beer was a lot weaker than this. So I think this is an Iron Jack. And it's easy to drink. And like most beers that are low alcohol content and easy to drink, it's just not great. It doesn't... You could sit down on a weekend and drink a lot of them. But if you want to have 2 beers and have a great time and have a lot of flavour, it just doesn't do that. So I think beer A is our winner today, which I'm very confident is Crown. Beer B, which is our loser, I'm less confident. It could be the ice, but I think it's the Iron Jack. I'm going to give the Iron Jack a higher score. I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 because I enjoy it more. But I don't think it's actually the better beer. So even though it's scored more, this is still our winner. I think I'm going to stick with that decision because I would personally drink this over this beer, but I can definitely understand the quality and the better taste of this beer, even though I don't prefer it myself. Let's review what our bottles were. I'm really confident that this is a Crown, and I'm 50-50 that this is an Iron Jack. If it's not an Iron Jack, it's an ice. Tooheys Ice. So we were correct. Our winner was a Crown, 1.4 standard drinks. 1.4 standard drinks puts it in the top 3 or 4 beers for strength. That's why it had a lot of kick. Of the 1.4 standard drinks, it's definitely not the best one. It will face a tough opponent in the quarterfinals, but it will move on. The Iron Jack is a 0.9 standard drink, 3.5%, just scrapes through for a mid-strength. This is a light beer. I don't care what anyone percentage-wise calls it. It's a light beer. This was super light. You could drink a lot of them. You would never get drunk off them unless you've been silly and not eating. It was really easy to drink, just didn't have a lot going on, like a lot of the light beers. Personally, I prefer this one, but you can tell the quality in the Crown. Both of these are very popular at the moment. Crown's definitely an older person drink. A lot of old farts drink the Crown. A lot of young blokes who can't handle their liquor drink Iron Jacks. Thanks for joining me for today's beer review. This is the first matchup where the beer that I personally prefer more, the loser today, Iron Jack, actually didn't beat out the better quality beer that I didn't prefer. This did get better the more I drank, and if I had a few more, it would probably taste better and better. But it's really harsh to start on. It's not a great starting beer. It will still go on to our quarterfinals. I suspect it will struggle against whoever it matches up against. It's a very strong, in-your-face sort of beer, and if you don't like it, it's hard to start on. Both of these are mainstream beers in Australia. Let me know which one you prefer, and let me know what your favourite beer is. I'll see you next time for our final round of 16 matchup.